only ever recited on the second night, after the meal, after Birkat Hamazon, and in fact, arguably, after the Seder itself is concluded, because you are firmly in the territory of singing songs and lounging about in Nirtza, is the counting of the Omer. The Omer is a biblically ordained commandment to count the nights between the second night of Passover and the offering and holiday, which we come to know as Shavuot. It is 49 nights, it is 50 days in all. And today it links the redemption of Pesach to the giving of the Torah, and some say that to our ancestors it linked the first offering of grain to the height of the harvest season. It is steady. We count each night. There are no surprises. There's no skipping. There's no change in the formula. There's simply the steady pace. For many, this becomes a powerful spiritual practice. The act of counting is the act of being attuned to the passage of time. It is a great act of intentionality. And so therein arises the question, is it a big deal or a small deal to count 50 days? Is it a major practice or is it a minor one? For some people, 50 days pass in the blink of an eye. Students living abroad can't believe that their time is coming to an end and that soon they will be returning home. I happen to know this is the fact because rabbinical and cantorial students can't believe that this is the time of year that their studies are coming to an end in Jerusalem. They all just, it's happening. For some, such as, professionals of any and all types, when you have a 50-day deadline and there's simply no way that that project will be done in time, those days pass very quickly. And I see a few in the room. Proud grandparents who cannot believe that time has flown so quickly and that a small little child has gotten so great and big so fast. 50 days is to some an eternity. To that same child, you might as well tell them to wait forever. In the eyes of the young, summer vacation is endless and camp goes on forever until it doesn't. To new parents, for whom days and nights kind of blend one into the other, there's still that steady passage of time. You can't imagine missing a single moment between the first day and the 50th of your child's life. And then, of course, to mourners. Many of you are here tonight. We mark every day of our loss. First by 7, and then by 30, and then by minyan, and then by month, and then by stone, and then by year. To count 50 days is not only great or small, it is both. It is a great act of perspective. And whether or not this will be a short time or a long time is entirely based on where you are as you begin this counting of the Omer. Our mystics see the 7 days of the 7 weeks and construct a diagram of great importance where they link each day and each week to one of the 7 different positive attributes of God or to the 7 lower spheres of the Kabbalat. Don't worry, I'm aware that mysticism is a bit heady and that what I just said might have already made several of you just go, nope, I'm done. I'm not there. But this is actually much less complicated than you think. So please stay with me because I know where we are, but I think that this is beautiful. And I think that this is meaningful, and I think that you can do it. Our mystics link the number 1 to chesed, which is loving kindness, the number 2 to gevurah, which is strength, 3 to tiferet, which is beauty, 4 to netzach, which is eternity, 5 to hod, which is glory, 6 to yisod, which is permanence, and 7 to malchut, which is sovereignty. And there won't be a quiz at the end, don't worry. But as a result, every day of the Omer becomes a meditation from a mystical perspective on the two attributes of the divinity which match up and how they are reflected in each other and in human beings and in the creation that is all around us. So, for instance, if we have strength inside of beauty, or eternity inside of dominion, or reliability inside of glory. Last night was Chesed, 1, first day, inside of Chesed, 1, first week. Love within love, kindness within kindness. And so, if one were interested in this activity and using this framework as a grand inspiration for adding meaning to your life, you might be able to just take a moment, like we're about to do right now, and focus on some questions, some guiding questions about love and kindness as they flow into each other. And so we're going to take a moment this evening to think about these things. So I'd invite you to settle in, to get comfortable. We're going to do something a little different tonight, but still I promise you'll get to Shabbat dinner on time. We'll take a moment to reflect and think, to hold and reflect, and then we'll let go of that question and we'll move on to the next one. Chesed b'chesed, loving kindness. Question number 1. How do I demonstrate my capacity for the love of another? How do I show someone else that I love them? Do I do it through acts? Do I do it through words? Do I do it through touch? Do I do it through food? Books? Gifts? Take a moment and think about the people who you love and how you show them that you love them. Breathe in, and we breathe out. A new question. How do I make room for others in my life? And is that easy for me? Or is that hard? What does it take for me to open my heart? And why have I closed it? Take a moment. Think about the times that you've made room in your life for others. Breathe in. Breathe out. Am I afraid to be vulnerable? Or do I show my vulnerabilities? Am I afraid to be vulnerable? Or do I show my vulnerabilities? We breathe in, and we breathe out. And the last question about chesed b'chesed is the simplest one. Who do I love? Really make the list. Bring their faces to your mind, whether they're here with you in this world still or not. And if that's hard, then think about who loves you and make that list instead, no matter how distant those people may be. We breathe in, we breathe out. I hope that was good. The idea of celestial spheres and the linking of time to the Omer is this very high mystical concept. But it's not such a challenging exercise to think about the people that we love, I don't think, or to think about the people who love us. And just because it's not a challenging exercise doesn't make it less of a meaningful exercise. And sometimes that's the beauty of mysticism, that ideas aren't nearly as complicated or as hard as they look on the box. And so as we embrace this Shabbat, I want to reiterate that the daily counting of the Omer is just one way to add intentionality and meaning to our lives. Whether we do that through these mystical studies of the spheres or simply by being intentional, whether we cultivate a practice of gratitude, or whether we just simply take the time to live, mark, and appreciate every day. This commandment is more than 3,000 years old. And yet this mystical counting, this act of counting, if you choose to embrace it, it can resonate joyfully and thoughtfully, not only in previous generations, but in ours as well. Shabbat Shalom. We turn to page 358 and rise. As one community, we begin the counting of the Omer.
Mukhanim zuman, hineni mukhanim zuman, hineni mukhanim zuman.
Here I am now, ready and prepared to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer as it is written in your Torah. You shall count for yourselves from the day after the holy day, from the day you bring the sheaf of wave offering, 7 complete weeks. You must count until the day after the 7th week, 50 days. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, al sefirat ha'omer, hayom yom sheni ba'omer. This is now the 2nd day of the Omer. We remain standing, and we turn to Aleinu and dream of a better world.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, la'tegidu la'liotzer breshit, shelo asanu ki goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam